Hola clase, hoy vamos a hacer parte uno de Repaso de Verbos, Practica. So there is a presentation uploaded on Brightspace right now, and it's just all the verbs. I didn't want to sit through a presentation while you copied verbs because it would be very dry for both of us. And so you can go ahead and copy those verbs down. I put a cheat sheet and I put charts how you can fill in your verbs. You can follow along, right along with my presentation. So there's actually three parts. So there's part one and part two of practice. I didn't want to overwhelm you, especially because we're doing muchos verbos. We're doing a lot of verbs. So I didn't want to make it unbearably dry, and I didn't want to make it unbearably long. And so I try to split it up. And more I got into it, I realized I had more to cover, and I just really wanted to make sure we all have a good review antes que comenzamos algo nuevo, before we start something new. So vamos a comenzar. These are your AR, ER, IR endings. You guys had a couple of regular present tense verbs on your verbs that I had you fill out. I also put in a lot of stem changers because we haven't practiced those as much. But remember, in the present tense, if it starts with yo, it ends in o. AR verbs are o, as, a, amos, ais, an. ER verbs and IR verbs in the present tense are conjugated exactly the same, except in the nosotros and vosotros form. You guys can see that down here. So if it's an ER verb in the nosotros, it's EMOS, and the vosotros, it's EIS con un acento. And with the IR, it's IMOS and IS with the acento. But other than that, they're conjugated the same. So I did a little bit of the review for present tense. So ahora vamos a practicar. And then when I get to the next section, we'll break it down a little bit. So hopefully this isn't too hard for you. So Numero Uno, también ustedes tienen cuatro opciones. You have four options. Yo blank las noticias de Bolivia. Yo leo las noticias de Bolivia. I read the news from Bolivia or of Bolivia. Speaking of Bolivia, ¿cuáles son las capitales de Bolivia? Hay dos. La Paz y el Sucre. Muy bien. Y nosotros estamos en El Campo del Sol. So this is the salt flats in Bolivia. And because the ground is all salt, it's white. So it reflects whatever's in the sky. So in the daytime, you're going to see clouds. In the nighttime, you're going to be able to see the stars reflected in the ground. Es muy, muy bonita, ¿no? Número dos. Tienes otra vez cuatro opciones. Marcos, toma el sol en la playa. Asistir comes from asistir, which means to attend. Tomar means to drink or to take. So tomar el sol literally means to take the sun. Lee is to read. Saca is to take, as in sacar fotos. So tomar and sacar both mean to take, but they're used in diferente contextos. Muy bien. All right, vamos a número cuatro. Tú vives en Argentina. Muy bien. ¿Y la capital de Argentina? Buenos Aires. Muy bien. Excelente. Número 5. Luis abre la puerta del coche. Muy bien. Abrir is to open. Yo abro la puerta. I open the door. Fantástico. Y La Habana es la capital. La Habana es la capital de qué país? En la foto, nosotros estamos en Cuba. Muy bien, excelente. Número 6. SpongeBob blank la ropa. Y ahora tienes cuatro opciones también. Cocina, mira, limpia, plancha. Es un repaso de definiciones también. Plancha, exacto. Cocina is cook, mira is watch, limpia is clean, plancha means to iron. So él plancha la ropa. He is ironing the clothes. Número 7. Vamos a practicar el verbo ir, que es irregular. Mis amigos van a asistir una lucha el jueves. So recuerda siempre a un a después de ir y el verbo en el infinitivo. So you have ir plus a plus the infinitive. My friends are going to attend a fight Thursday. So van en el forma ir. Muy bien. Número 8, Martín. Blank a nadar en la piscina. Martín va a nadar en la piscina. He is going to swim in the pool. Número 9. Luis y yo, blank, mofongo en Puerto Rico. Luis y yo, so anytime you have yo and another subject pronoun, you're always going to use nosotros. So Luis y yo comemos mofongo en Puerto Rico. Y la capital de Puerto Rico, San Juan. Pero la pregunta más importante, ¿qué es mofongo? Mofongo es un plato puertorriqueño. So this is a Puerto Rican dish que es muy famoso y tiene plátanos, ajos, a veces pollo. So it's plantains with garlic mixed together. Sometimes you could have meat in it as well. Es muy, muy delicioso y es el plato muy famoso de Puerto Rico que se llama mofongo. Muy bien. Número 11. Es enero en Buffalo. Hace mucho frío hoy y blank mucho. So it is January in Buffalo. Hace mucho frío hoy. It is very cold today y probablemente nieva mucho. Perfecto. So muy rápido vamos a hacer nevar. So nieva viene de nevar, pero nevar es un verbo que es un stem changer. So when you conjugate nevar, the e changes to ie. So in the third person, nieva. So it's snowing as el verbo. If we're talking about the noun, it's la nieve. Right? So es la diferencia. Nevar es el verbo. Nieva es el verbo. And then you have the noun, la nieve. También, llover is a stem changer. So O changes to UE. When I conjugate it, llueve changes to it's raining. If I just wanted to talk about the rain, la lluvia, right? La diferencia, verbo, and then you have your noun over here. Okay, número 12. Los estudiantes necesitan blank a clase todos los días. So, mira que el verbo está conjugado. The verb is conjugated. Entonces, necesita encontrar un verbo en el infinitivo. So, you need to find the verb, the infinitive. And actualmente todos son en el infinitivo. So, asistir es la respuesta correcta. So, that means to attend. The students need to attend class every day. Leer, to read. Recibir, to receive. Creer, to believe. Número 13. El señor Rodríguez blank ir al cine esta noche, pero no puede porque está muy enfermo. Bueno. Quiere ir al cine. Señor Rodriguez wants to go to the movies, but he doesn't know because he is sick. Again, querer comes from, quiere comes from el verbo querer, which is irregular all the way around. Número 14. Blank, yo blank los regalos a la fiesta de cumpleaños. So I want, I bring, I leave, I hear. So quiero, I want. Traigo, I bring. Salgo, I leave. Oigo, I hear. Yo traigo los regalos a la fiesta de cumpleaños. I am bringing the presents to the birthday party. So remember, when I say traigo, it can mean I bring, and it also can mean I am bringing. So it can mean those two things. So depende en el contexto. All right, vamos. Número 15. Vamos a trabajar en las expresiones con tener. So tener es un verbo irregular. Roman no. Estudiar. So Roman no tiene ganas de. Tienes miedo. Tienes éxito. Or tienes suerte. So tienes suerte means to be lucky. Tienes éxito means to be successful. Tienes miedo means to be fearful. Tienes ganas de means to feel like doing something. So, la respuesta correcta, Roman no tiene ganas de estudiar. Mira la foto, él está jugando. Mira la foto, él está jugando. Los libros y la tarea está en otra parte. He's just playing. He's not looking at his books. So, no tienes ganas de estudiar. He does not feel like studying. Muy bien. All right, número 16. Melissa y Anita blank hamburguesas en el restaurante. Piden, siguen, quiere, salen. Otra vez, verbos irregulares. Pedir, to ask or to order. Seguir, to follow. Quiere, to want. Salir, to leave. Melissa y Anita piden hamburguesas en el restaurante. They are ordering hamburgers in the restaurants, or they order hamburgers in the restaurant. Muy bien. Número 17. Yo siempre quiero, pero a veces me equivoco. Yo siempre quiero tener razón. I always want to be right. So tener miedo, that first one, to be scared. Tener sed, to be thirsty. Tener razón, to be right. Tener ganas de, to feel like doing something. Muy bien. So anytime you want to say that you're wrong or incorrect, you can say no tengo razón. I'm not right. You also can say me equivoco. That means I'm wrong también. All right, número 18. Ellos llevan las paraguas porque. So they carry the umbrellas. Look at paraguas, for umbrellas. Porque está lloviendo. So this brings us to our next part, a present progressive. Very quickly, I'm going to show you when you're talking about the present progressive, AR verbs, this is your stem. Every single time it's going to be hablando, comer, comiendo, which means eating, escribir, escribiendo, which means writing. So ando for AR verbs, yendo for ER verbs, and yendo for IR verbs. And so this is the present progressive, meaning I am speaking, I am eating, I am writing. It's what you're doing currently in the moment. One of the things I really like about this form is that it's the same for every single subject pronoun. You just need to remember to insert the a star and conjugate to a star to agree with the subject pronoun. So it says estoy estudiando, estás estudiando, está estudiando, and so on. So vamos a practicar un poquito. Yo uso esta forma mucho. I use this form a lot. This is just a quick refresher that these are irregulares. Pedir changes to the I, pidiendo, so ordering, diciendo, saying, sirviendo, serving, durmiendo, sleeping, trayendo, bringing, leyendo, reading. Okay, so vamos a practicar un poquito. So remember, when you have the present progressive, it's going to give you the verb patinar, which means to skate. You need to remember to put in a star ahead of time. By far, I think that's the most challenging part of doing this conjugation. So, en el invierno, ellos, what form of a star is going to go with ellos? Están, exacto. Patinar is an AR verb, so AR verbs change to ando, so it'd be están patinando. En el invierno, ellos están patinando en el parque. Número 20. Los estudiantes estudiar en Santo Domingo. So no olvides que necesita poner el verbo estar y estudiar es un verbo AR. So los estudiantes están estudiando en Santo Domingo. Y Santo Domingo es la capital de la República Dominicana. Muy bien. Número 21. ¿Estás? ¿Hace? ¿Asistiendo? ¿Haciendo? ¿O haces tu tarea ahora? Hacer is to do or to make. And so en este contexto, ¿estás haciendo tu tarea ahora? Are you doing your homework now? Número 23. Mi vecino. Está cortando el césped todos los domingos. Muy bien. All right, so this last one we're going to do is just 2 commands. So we're going to get into formal commands this semester, and actually in your verb charts you had to fill that out. So it was just trying to let me get you a little bit more familiar with that. So we did do 2 commands in Spanish 203. Es muy fácil. It's very easy. All you do is put it in the 3rd person, singular. So if I wanted to tell you, the to form goes in the 3rd person. That's the little tricky part, but other than that, it's easy. So manejar means to drive. So I'd say maneja a escuela. Drive to school. Come tu desayuno. Eat your breakfast. Conduce. Conduce also means to drive. So conduce cuidamente. Drive carefully. So vamos a ver muy rápido. To form regular affirmative to commands, you simply use the usted, el, ella form of the present tense. So the infinitive tomar, your stem, tom, you drop the ar. The to command takes on the 3rd person, so it'd be toma. So, let me pass this. For ejemplo, aprender, okay, so this is número 24. Aprender in the 3rd person. Aprende de la historia de Fidel Castro. Learn the history of Fidel Castro. Muy bien. Número 25. Visitar. So we have an AR verb here. In the to command form, visita los edificios con arquitecto cubano. I want to say arquitectos cubanos. I'm going to change that. Oh, actually, no, that's fine. Arquitecto cubano. So, visit buildings with Cuban architecture. Muy bien. Just in case you need to see that. Comprar el arte cubano. Compra el arte cubano. Mira la bandera de Cuba. ¿Cómo se dice stripes? Las rayas. ¿Cómo se dice star? Estrella. ¿Cómo se dice triangle? Triángulo. Muy bien. So, compra el arte cubano. Número 27. Cambiar tu dinero americano. Cambia tu dinero americano. Change your American currency. Bailar la salsa. La salsa viene de Cuba. La salsa viene de Cuba. Muchas personas piensan que viene de México, pero no es la verdad. La salsa es cubana. Cuban salsa comes from Cuba. So baila la salsa. No viene de Mexico. It does not come from Mexico. The salsa originated in Cuba. Y escuchar la reggaetón. Escucha la reggaetón. So, la reggaetón, ¿qué es? Es un género de música que combina el reggae con el rap y el hip hop. Una canción más famosa de reggaetón es de Daddy Yankee. Dame la gasolina, Dame la gasolina. It came out in 2002, pienso que. Y es el más famoso canción de reggaeton. Okay, so this was la primera parte. We did present progressive. We touched on commands. We touched on the present tense. So a lot in a very small amount of time. The second part is basically just going to be the preterite versus the imperfect. And then we will go from there. If you have preguntas, please email me. I am happy to help. Que tenga buen día y nos vemos pronto.